Hey there! In 2025, US President Donald Trump imposed new tariffs on almost every country, especially on China. As of April, tariffs on some Chinese products have shot up to over 200%. But that's not all. Trump also accused China of manipulating its currency to make the yuan weaker and dodge those tariffs. You might wonder, why would anyone want their money to get weaker? Don't all countries want a strong currency? What China is doing might sound strange at first, but it is actually a strategic move called currency devaluation, or is it manipulation? So what is currency devaluation or manipulation? Why would a country want a weaker currency? How do they do it? Is it fair? Is it cheating? Is a weaker currency really bad? And yes, we'll even talk about the famous Plaza Accord, where the US did it too. In this video, we will talk about everything you need to know about currency devaluation and manipulation. Section 1. What is currency devaluation and manipulation? Currency devaluation is when the government lowers the value of a country's currency on purpose. This is different from currency depreciation. Depreciation is when a currency weakens naturally, like when a country's economy is not good and foreign investors lose confidence and sell that currency in response. So depreciation happens naturally due to market response, while devaluation is a choice made by the government on purpose. Then there's currency manipulation. Simply put, currency manipulation is when a government actively controls or influences the value of its currency. But not every time a country adjusts its currency is considered manipulation. Many countries, especially countries that export a lot, manage their exchange rates as part of normal economic policy. It only becomes controversial when countries are not transparent or they push their currency down unnaturally for too long, making their exports unfairly cheap, at least according to others. That's when they might get labeled a currency manipulator. But it's more a political term, as there's no clear definition of currency manipulation. Now you might be thinking, why would any country want a weaker currency? Isn't a strong currency always better? Well, let's talk about why countries sometimes choose to make their own money weaker. Section 2. Why would a country want a weaker currency? At first, it sounds like one of the dumbest things governments can do, right? Well, in macroeconomics, it can actually be a useful tool. First, cheaper exports for other countries. This is the main reason countries do currency devaluation. For example, let's say $1 equals 7 Chinese yuan. A Chinese factory makes a toy and sells it for 7 yuan. When they export it to the US, the buyer pays $1 because $1 equals 7 yuan. Now imagine again, but this time, the US government adds a 30% tariff on Chinese toys. That means the toy now costs $1.30 in the US suddenly. It's no longer cheap. American customers might start buying toys from another country or from US factories instead. To fight back, China weakens its currency. Now $1 equals 8 yuan. The same toy still costs 7 yuan, but when it's converted to US dollars, it becomes 88 cents. And after being slapped with 30% tariffs, it still costs $1.15. It makes the Chinese toys cheap again without needing to cut costs or sacrifice profit. Of course, a country doesn't devalue its currency from 7 yuan to 8 yuan in one move that fast. They do it slowly, quietly, and carefully, and yeah, they're definitely not going to make any announcement if they want to devalue. Now you might wonder, if the change is so small, why even bother? Well, because a country's exports can be worth billions of dollars, even a small devaluation can make a huge impact. So, by weakening its currency, China can cancel out part of the tariff and keep its exports competitive. And that's why Trump and many American exporters have complained that the dollar is too strong, which makes US exports more expensive and less competitive overseas. Second, more expensive imports or invisible tariffs. Wait, how are more expensive imports good? So the local products now look more attractive to buyers because they are the cheaper option. But if your country puts tariffs on another country, that country will retaliate and put reciprocal tariffs. That's what happened in the Trump-China trade war. But by doing currency devaluation, you are doing a similar thing to what tariffs are doing. It's slower and less powerful, but it doesn't break any trade agreements and likely won't trigger retaliation. But yeah, just like tariffs, this can also cause inflation. Third, devaluation can somehow reduce debt's value. Let's say the Wiwiland government borrowed $1 million Wiwi dollars from its own people. Years later, the government prints more money and causes inflation. Now, because prices have gone up, the same 1 million can only buy half as much as before. But the government still pays back only 1 million. So in real terms, it's paying back cheaper money that's worth less now than when it borrowed it. This is how inflation, which is caused by devaluation, helps shrink the real value of debt when the debt is in your own currency. But this only works when the debt is in their own currency. If they borrowed in foreign currency like US dollars, then it's the opposite. A weaker local currency makes the debt even more expensive to repay. Pretty sneaky, right? Now let's get back to Section 3. Section 3, how can countries weaken their currency? Do they just change the numbers on the exchange board? Well, not exactly, but they do have some methods to do that. The first method is cutting interest rates. This is actually done by the central bank, not the government. Yeah, they're different. As you know, when you buy government bonds, it means you are lending your money to the government, and the government will repay your money plus the interest based on the interest rates set by the central bank. For example, when interest rates are high in the US, it means investors can earn bigger returns by buying things like US government bonds or savings. But to invest, they need US dollars. So they buy dollars, which pushes up the demand and strengthens the US dollar. Now, how do you weaken the dollar? Just do the opposite. Cut the interest rates, which means the US government can now pay lower interest on bonds. Investors might lose interest and sell the bonds and US dollars. Less demand for the dollar eventually weakens it. The second method is printing more money. Oh yeah, the classic move. This is also known as quantitative easing or QE. It's when the central bank prints new money and uses that money to buy government bonds from others like commercial banks. Commercial banks that receive new money will lend more to businesses and people. This will cause inflation. As you know, inflation will cause the value of the currency to drop. The third method is using foreign reserves. That means the central bank buys or sells its own currency to push the exchange rate where they want it. For example, unlike the US, where the dollar is allowed to float freely in the market, China doesn't fully let the market decide. The Chinese government sets a daily target exchange rate for the yuan. If not, then China will sell a huge amount of yuan in the foreign exchange market, which is the place where people buy and sell currencies. Or China can just let the yuan fall and do nothing. But if the yuan falls too sharply, China will use their massive foreign reserves, which are around $3 trillion US dollars, to buy back the yuan, increasing its price and making the yuan stronger again. This method is fast but expensive, especially the strengthening part, as it needs tons of foreign reserves. Now we go to Section 4. Section 4, is it fair or is it cheating? At this point you might be thinking, wait, isn't this cheating? Can a country really just tweak its currency and get an advantage in global trade? That is exactly what the US accused China of doing. In 2019, the US Treasury labeled China a currency manipulator after the yuan weakened past 7 yuan per dollar. China denied it, but the US believed China was weakening its currency on purpose to offset tariffs. But there were no punishments anyway, and the US dropped the label in 2020. Actually, most countries manage their currency in some way. For example, back in 1985, the US faced huge trade deficits with other countries, especially Japan, which was the rising economic superpower. So the US pressured Japan, Germany, France, and the UK to meet at the Plaza Hotel in New York and agree to make the dollar weaker on purpose. It was called the Plaza Accord. How did they do that? For example, Japan sold huge amounts of US dollars from their reserves in exchange for their own currency, the Japanese yen. As more dollars flooded the market, the US dollar weakened. As the yen was less in the market but the demand for yen stayed the same, the yen's value shot up much faster than Japan expected. The strong yen made Japanese exports way more expensive overseas. Japanese businesses' profits fell. So to fight it, Japan cut interest rates and printed more money to give cheap loans to its population. The Japanese saw cheap loans, borrowed heavily, and invested crazily in stocks and real estate, which caused one of the biggest asset bubbles in history. The bubble finally popped in the 1990s and caused Japan's lost decades. Devaluation can help make exports cheaper, but it can also trigger retaliation. For example, after the 2008 financial crisis, many countries struggled to grow their economies. So one by one, their central banks cut interest rates, printed more money, and let their currencies fall to boost exports. This sparked a currency war, where everyone raced to weaken their money to stay competitive. The danger is when too many countries do this at once, it can cause global inflation, market panic, and broken trade relationships. So is it fair? Depends who you ask. The country doing it says it's just protecting its economy. Other countries say it's unfair competition. And if all countries are doing the same, then no one wins. Section 5. Is a weaker currency really bad? If a weaker currency helps exports, protects local businesses, and even somehow reduces debt, it sounds kind of smart, right? Well, a weaker currency does come with real consequences too. The first effect is inflation. When your currency weakens, importing things like food, oil, and electronics gets more expensive, and prices across the board start to rise. That is why countries like Turkey, which still depend heavily on imports, suffer badly from inflation when their currency falls. Meanwhile, countries like China, which produce more of their own goods locally, can survive better and even profit from exporting cheaper products. The second effect is eating your salary. If your salary stays the same or grows slowly while living costs rise faster, people suffer. You are technically earning the same, but in reality, you can afford much less. The third effect is the growing gap between the rich and the poor. When inflation is rising, many people are scared and start to invest more in assets like real estate to protect their assets from inflation. As people are competing to invest, asset prices skyrocket. Well, this is good if you have those assets, but for people who just rely on salaries, this makes them poorer, especially when the salary isn't even enough for living, let alone to invest. So in the end, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Also, countries cannot just keep weakening their currency forever. If inflation spirals too much, it not only hurts prices but can destroy trust in the currency itself. Once people and investors stop believing a currency is stable, it becomes worthless. So in conclusion, a weaker currency can make exports cheaper, protect local industries, and even help shrink debt. It's not always a bad thing. In fact, countries like China, Japan, and even Switzerland have used this strategy when it suits them. But it's not a free win. A weaker currency can also raise prices, hurt salaries, widen inequality, and trigger high inflation, especially if your country still depends heavily on imports. So is it cheating? Is it smart? Or is it just survival in the world economy? The answer is all of the above. In the end, it's not just about strong or weak currencies. It's about who controls the money and who pays the price.